The global skincare industry is worth over $200 billion. That number grows every year, not because skin is getting worse, because the industry is extraordinarily good at creating a problem and then selling the solution. My grandmother is 81 years old. She has never owned a skincare product, not a moisturizer, not a serum, not SPF, eye cream, toner, or exfoliant. Her bathroom cabinet contains soap, a comb, and a toothbrush. That is the entire list. And her skin, at 81, looks the way it looks, which is not the skin of someone who has spent 81 years ignoring it. It is the skin of someone who has spent 81 years doing something different than buying products. Before I explain what that is, this is not a fast-cut video. It is a real idea, explained properly. Give it your full attention. The first thing my grandmother does instead of skincare is eat. Specifically, she eats in a way that produces different skin from the inside than the Western diet produces. The traditional Japanese diet is high in fermented foods. Miso, which is fermented soybean paste, consumed daily. Natto, fermented soybeans, eaten regularly. Pickled vegetables with almost every meal. These fermented foods are dense in beneficial bacteria that populate the gut microbiome. The connection between gut microbiome health and skin condition is one of the most actively researched areas in dermatology right now. The gut-skin axis, as researchers call it, is the biological pathway through which the state of your digestive system directly affects the inflammatory state of your skin. A disrupted microbiome produces systemic low-grade inflammation. That inflammation manifests in skin as redness, uneven texture, accelerated collagen breakdown, and impaired barrier function. A healthy microbiome reduces that inflammation. The skin that results is calmer, more even, and ages more slowly because the primary driver of visible skin aging, inflammation, is being addressed at its source rather than at its surface. No product applied to the outside of the skin addresses the inflammatory state driving the aging from within. My grandmother never bought a product for her skin. She ate miso soup every morning for 60 years. The second thing she does instead of skincare is drink water, consistently in large quantities throughout the day, beginning before anything else in the morning. This sounds too simple to be meaningful. The dermatology is direct. Skin is approximately 64% water. Skin cell turnover, the process by which old cells are shed and new cells replace them, producing the skin renewal that expensive treatments attempt to accelerate, requires adequate hydration to function at its natural rate. Chronic mild dehydration, which most people in wealthy countries experience without being aware of it, slows cell turnover, reduces skin elasticity, impairs barrier function, and produces a dullness and fine line visibility that the skincare industry sells as a problem requiring products to solve. The actual problem is dehydration. The actual solution is water. My grandmother drinks warm water first thing every morning before anything else enters her system. She has done this every single day for as long as I can remember. She does not count glasses or track intake. She simply drinks consistently throughout the day because that is what she has always done. The third thing is protection from the sun, but not through SPF, through behavior. My grandmother does not sunbathe. She does not sit in direct sun for extended periods. When she is outdoors in strong light, she covers up. A light layer, a hat, shade sought rather than avoided. This is not vanity. It is the instinct of someone from a culture that has understood for generations that UV exposure is the single largest external driver of visible skin aging. Photoaging, the skin damage caused by cumulative sun exposure, accounts for approximately 90% of the visible changes in skin that people associate with aging. The wrinkles, the spots, the loss of elasticity, the uneven tone, 90% of it is sun damage, not time. The SPF industry exists to sell a product that addresses this. My grandmother addresses it through the simpler and more complete method of not accumulating the damage in the first place. A hat and a habit costs nothing. It also works better than the daily application of a product with a compliance rate that almost no one maintains consistently across decades. The fourth thing is sleep, which I covered in a separate video on this channel, but which belongs here too because its effect on skin is direct and significant. During sleep, the body produces human growth hormone. Human growth hormone drives cellular repair, including the repair of collagen and elastin, the structural proteins that give skin its firmness and elasticity. It also drives skin cell turnover, the same process that adequate hydration supports. Chronic poor sleep disrupts growth hormone production. The skin that results from years of poor sleep ages faster than the skin of someone who sleeps well, not because of any external factor, but because the nightly repair cycle that maintains the skin's structural integrity is being repeatedly interrupted. My grandmother sleeps well. She's always slept well, not because of a product or a supplement, because of the structure I described in the sleep video. Consistent bedtime, the evening bath, a dark, cool room, no screens. The skin benefit of that structure is not incidental. It is one of the primary mechanisms by which Japanese women age differently. The fifth thing is what she does not consume. The absence is as important as what is present. Sugar. My grandmother eats very little of it, not as a diet decision, simply because the traditional Japanese diet is not built around sweetness the way the Western diet is. The mechanism connecting sugar and skin aging is called glycation. Excess blood sugar bonds to proteins in the body through a process that produces compounds called advanced glycation end products. These compounds, among other effects, attach to collagen and elastin fibers and make them stiff and brittle. The skin that results loses elasticity and develops the sagging and wrinkling associated with aging. This process is irreversible at the level of the individual fiber. The only way to address it is to reduce the glucose load that causes it. No product applied to the skin reverses glycation. A diet low in refined sugar prevents it from accumulating at the rate that produces visible aging. My grandmother has never followed a low-sugar diet. She has simply never eaten the volume of refined sugar that the Western food environment makes the default. The sixth thing is the one that is hardest to quantify but appears consistently in the research on populations that age well. Stress. Specifically, the absence of chronic stress. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, breaks down collagen when chronically elevated. It impairs barrier function. It increases inflammation. It disrupts the hormonal environment that maintains skin health. A face that has lived under chronic stress for decades looks different from a face that has not. Not because of any single dramatic event, because of the cumulative effect of thousands of small cortisol spikes that were never fully resolved. My grandmother is one of the least visibly stressed people I have ever known. Not because her life has been without difficulty, because she has a relationship with difficulty that does not produce the chronic physiological stress response that most people carry continuously. The concepts I have talked about in other videos on this channel, Ikigai, Ma, Shoganai, are not only financial or philosophical ideas. They are the framework of a life that does not chronically activate the stress response. And the skin of a person who has lived inside that framework for 80 years looks like what it is. The product that the skincare industry cannot bottle is not a molecule. It is a way of living. Fermented food every day, water before anything else, sun avoided through behavior, not products, sleep protected as a non-negotiable, sugar absent not through discipline but through a diet that never built itself around it, and a relationship with daily life that does not produce the chronic stress that ages a face from the inside. None of this is in a bottle. All of it is available. My grandmother has spent nothing on her skin in 81 years, and the result is the answer to a question the skincare industry would prefer you never thought to ask. What if the product was never what the skin needed? What if it was always the life?